guys, it's been a long time coming, but I'm proud to announce that my hands are finally registered with the International Registry of Lethal Hands. This is the only place where your God-given gifts of danger can get the recognition that they truly deserve. Now you might be thinking, why on earth would anybody need to register their hands as lethal? Let me break it down for you. There are those among us whose hands are so downright dangerous, they need to be documented. Registration is a moral responsibility, and it's a vote for the greater good of humanity. The sole mission of the International Registry for Lethal Hands is to catalog the most formidable hands on the planet. So if you know someone, and you even suspect they possess lethal hands, do not hesitate. Register them immediately. And if you've ever looked at your own hands and thought, damn, these dogs are dangerous, don't settle. Go register. Head over to registeryourhands.com, fill out a simple form, and you're official. Remember, use the promo code Chael to save 20%, or just click on the link below. Conor McGregor is back versus Chandler. Well, okay, let's unwind one thing, which is Conor told us as a New Year's treat that he would be fighting Michael Chandler on June 29th at T-Mobile as part of International Fight Week, and now he's doing exactly that. And Dana had gone on Pat McAfee's show and said that's not happening. And that was very interesting to see. That should have been huge news, but people never really caught on as to how we got to that point. So it was no news. It was no news whatsoever. There was no headlines. There was no anything. Just move on. Conor's a troll. Said he was fighting Pacquiao in a boxing match the week before that. Whatever, right? That's what we were doing. But no, it was actually very interesting. Conor McGregor came out with that piece of information. Now, there has been many a fight made by doing that. And if you can get over, if you can make the media believe that you're giving them news as opposed to trolling them, and you get them to run with it, it puts an organization in a spot to go, well, what am I supposed to do now? Right? It's a very sly tactic. It's guerrilla marketing. And it's done by many, but never has it been done by somebody as great and as big and as in demand as Conor. Why? Because Conor's never needed to. Conor's the guy that called up in late December and said, I'm going to fight next month. Not can I fight next. He said, I'm going to fight next month. They went and scrambled and got a venue together, sold it out in 24 hours. I was part of it. It was Cowboy Cerrone versus Conor McGregor. So Conor's never needed one of these hustles. And the fact that he attempted the hustle because he needed the hustle, see, that's the story, and that's what you all missed. Pat McAfee didn't know enough about it at the time, or Pat could have asked Dana, say, hey, wait, what's going on here? And Dana was very polite, but Dana never said, he's trolling or what. Never. He said he's got movie obligations, he won't be doing the fight. That was it. Everybody left it at that. But it's the why. It's the why did Conor do that? What was happening? And McGregor wanted to fight so bad he did this. See, I loved it. I love it when Conor shows his competitive side. When Conor drops the fancy umbrella and the stupid cars that doors open the wrong way or come up, when he's a regular guy, I love it. When he's a dirty, rotten cage fighter underneath all that money and all those fancy suits, just like me, I love it. And Conor going out and pulling this, it went away because you guys didn't understand what was happening. It's the greatest story thus far in MMA in 2024. And nobody asked the questions as to why. And what an incredible coincidence. Right? I mean, this move works 100% of the time. There's one ingredient. You have to get the media to believe they're getting information not trolled. You have to. But once you do it, you can't unwind it. So they attempted to unwind it. They went out and said, no, we're not doing it. How many times do you want to say it? You ever seen a correction go out on the news? We've seen people lose campaigns for the presidency over fake information. That they can't try to say, hey, whoa, we got that wrong. That was the wrong information. It doesn't work that way. Once it's out, it's out. So Conor versus Chandler, I spoke to Chandler this morning. I said, Michael, Uncle Chael. I said, buddy, welcome back. I would like some inside information, though. If you got anything you can tell me, anything that I can break, that I'm the guy that has it. Michael told me this himself. And he goes, nah. I said, man, I would have given it to you. He said, but no, I don't. Everything's out. But he did share some things with me that I didn't know, even though they're out. So I'm going to share them with you in the event that they could be new for you, which first and foremost, this agreement was done 3 to 4 weeks ago. I felt as though maybe he said this, but also I should disclose, maybe I just, for some reason, was given the idea right around Miami in 299, right? At least date-wise. So they've been sitting on this and waiting, not knowing what they were going to do with it, not knowing if they were going to drop a trailer. Dana did release something on social media saying Conor was, hey, this is close. Conor's almost back, whatever. But you can't get excited for those things anymore. Just because there was so many hot potatoes in the air and none of them were coming around. So I said to Chandler, I said, all right, tell me what weight class. And Chandler said, let the world know Conor was a good little boy and did as I told him to. Fight at 170. Chandler said, and the whole reason I wanted at 170, I want him at his biggest and best. I want him at his most dangerous. All right, great. Whether that's the way that went down or not, I told Michael I would give that message. And I do like that idea by Chandler. I like Chandler's attitude. Oh, Chandler. I like everything about Chandler. And Chandler used to come off as arrogant. Now he is just an entertainer. He is. He's so handsome. He's always wearing black shirts. I hope he keeps doing these flex. I wish I knew the brand name of these shirts he's wearing because they're hugging his body. Like, he just looks great, right? But you know when a guy's cool, you know when a guy's over and then you start to just look at him and go, oh, yeah, that's him. That's a cool thing. And that's fun. He's gotten himself to that point. But here's what I need to know. And Daniel Cormier teased me. He said, I'm going down the wrong road here, but I'm not. And I'm going to stay on this dirt road. I am not convinced that's the main event. Now, I will be as soon as Dana White says that's the main event. But I always use history as my trajectory to the future. There has never been an international fight weekend. When do they go back, guys? Do they go back to 2009? Is that right? Could be 2008. There's never been an international fight weekend that was not capped off with a world title fight. In fact, lots of times there's multiple world title fights. I remember one show, they did a Thursday show, they did a Friday show. That was the night Eddie Alvarez became the champion of the world, and then they went into Saturday. They did all title fights. So now you're going to tell me for the first time ever, and you could do it. I mean, you got your biggest stars. Nobody's going to complain. I'm just suggesting for you that this has not been stated that that's the main event. And that would be wildly interesting, wouldn't it? If Conor was a wouldn't that be interesting? And I asked Chandler, I said, hey man, you've been crystal clear that this is a main event. And he said, well, no. I said, was it 3 rounds or 5? And he goes, well, it's funny you ask. He said, it's 5, but Conor wanted it to be 3. And see, there again, I love when Conor does stuff like that. When he shows the real him, when the real him pops his head up and looks around a little bit, the him that wants to win, the him who has dreams, who's facing rankings, who wants to get his arm raised, that wants to beat you. You don't come in off of layoffs into title fights, into 5-round situations. Just don't do that. You don't come back off of injuries. We just saw this Chris Weidman. Imagine Weidman, when he came back with Brad Tavares, imagine there was 2 more. Remember Weidman was limping and we're all, we're feeling bad. Tavares started to attack that leg. Imagine there was 10 more minutes of that. Do you know how inappropriate that would have been? You have a very different betting line. If this fight is 3 rounds versus 5, you might even have a different prediction yourself on who wins. It's a different fight. Conor didn't get it. It's going to be 5 rounds. That leans to the idea that it is, in fact, a main event. It's what Chandler told me. I think it's the main event, and here's why. It's 5 rounds. But we know they don't always do that, and I like the story that Conor wanted it to be 3. That's smart. That's responsible. I love when Conor does smart, responsible things. I love when he sells the idea of the invincible. But when he operates like a human when no one's looking. It's when he sells the idea of the invincible and he falls for his own gimmick, and they all fall for their own gimmick over time, right? You guys do too. As human beings, we are whoever we pretend to be. And I like when Conor does that. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I'm not predicting for you Conor and Chandler's not the main event. I'm not. But I would be surprised if International Fight Week, the biggest weekend of the year, doesn't have a title fight. That will surprise me. So I'm going to be surprised in one direction or the other. And as the smartest guy in the room that can stand back and see everything, even things that you can't, I was compelled to bring that to you.